What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and welcome to episode 7. Wait a minute. Oh, for the love of. Let's try that again, shall we? What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and welcome to episode 6 of the world's first. And today, Sheffield FC will be taking on 17th place Romulus as we head towards the home stretch of this first season. Taking a look at the table, Sheffield FC are sitting in first place. We are back on top of Stocksbridge, but only by a point. We have 65 points through 33 matches. Of course, Stocksbridge would have 64 then. Then the next closest is Carlton with 59, so 6 points back behind us. I think it's safe to assume that by the end of the season, we will finish no worse than 5th. But playoffs aren't really my thing. I want to go and win the title outright to get promoted into level 7. After our last live com against Newcastle Town, we hit a bit of a rough patch as we traveled to Rugby and lost 3-0 very handily, I might add. While we both had 8 shots, Rugby had a little better eye for the goal as they had 4 of them on target, whereas we had none. Our defense really didn't play all that well. Didn't seem like they were up for it, as everybody except Kyle Lewis had less than a 6 rating, and even though Kyle Lewis has 6'4", he also had a yellow card, so nobody on the back line played particularly well, allowing Rugby to run all over us, getting into the final third, and we really couldn't close them down, as you would say. This was also the first match where we wouldn't have Yohan Benyaya or Benny Igihan due to injury, so Shaq McKenzie and Abubakar Shigo sitting up front, not really the best striker tandem, and as you can see, didn't really do all that great. But we did bounce back with a solid, dominating victory against last place Tividale as we beat them 2-1 on the backs of a Tom Batten penalty and a Boubacar Shigo goal, both in the first half. 16 shots, 7 on target, majority possession. Everybody played average to above average at best. It wasn't a great performance, but it was enough to get the job done. Yes, we did let a goal go past, but that was off of a really lucky pinball in the box after a corner kick. So can't really put too much stock in that. Goalkeeper just didn't know where the ball was going to go after it bounced around 2 people. Our offense hit a bit of a lull in these next 2 matches as we only drew 0-0 against Colville at home. And to say that offenses were sleeping is kind of an understatement, as we only took 7 shots, going 1 of them on target. We did hold Colville to 5-2, but at the same time, no goals. Even with a Colville player being sent off just a half hour into the match, I felt that we could have had something. I even brought Yohan Benyaya and Benny Igihan coming back directly off of injury. I wanted to start both of them back just to see for match fitness and whatnot, and see if they could come back firing on all cylinders. Clearly not the case today, as Benny Igihan not getting a single shot off on target. That one on target was from Yohan. And it wasn't much better in the next match as we drew 0-0 to Stocksbridge, but this time we were completely outclassed as Stocksbridge had 16 shots, 5 of them being on target, and had majority possession. Callum Williams had a tough time in front of net, but fortunately made up for some of the defensive mistakes in Kyle Lewis and Ben Turner to help overcome all those shots taken and help get the clean sheet. We not only got back to our winning ways against Market Drayton, but both of our strikers got back on form, as Benny Igihan picked up a brace and Yohan Benyaya added 1 to his tally on the season to win 3-1. 14 shots, 7 on target, majority possession, up and down the pitch. Everybody played fairly decent defense. Once again, letting by a little bit of a ticky-tack goal within the 6-yard box, just not knowing where the ball was, and Callum Williams not reaching it in time. It's these little mistakes that really peeve me off, because sometimes you should probably get a clean sheet, but then your players go out and do something stupid, as was today. No matter, we still got the 3 points. We followed that up with a 1-0 victory away to Stafford, James Knowles picking up the goal in the second half, but there was always the fear that we would be getting someone sent off as we played rather recklessly, picking up 4 cards in the match. Taking 6 shots, 3 of them being on target, our offense seemed to slightly dip. And that's not saying that Stafford's defense is great. They're really not. It's just our offense wasn't performing as they were versus Market Drayton. I didn't change up the tactics. They just did not produce as well as I thought they would, coming off the back of a 3-1 victory. But once again, 3 points is 3 points, and we get it here and move back to the top of the table. And then the final match in this set, we defeated Belper at home 3-2. Benyaya, Bacon, and Wolstenholme all getting on the score sheet. 15 shots, 5 on target, fairly even possession, But the defense seemed to lose Evan Garnett on the other side as he was able to score a first half brace. And this guy, it all came down to tactics. I kept trying to mark him, put everything on him, but the defense would still lose him. We were very fortunate he did not pick up a hat trick with the flurry of shots he took within the last 5 minutes of this match. Belper with only 2 shots on target, of course, Garnett's goals. But 4 of the shots in that tally came in this last 5 minutes as they scrambled, tried very hard to get the equalizer. Defense held solid, but it was very shaky for those last 5 minutes. Now, before we get into the match versus Romulus, I did make a couple of transfers, at the lower league trade deadline. Yes, there is actually a lower league trade deadline, and it's a transfer deadline. You're not in the MLS, Gendo, at the end of March. So I decided that both Johan and Benny Igihan were probably going to leave the club at the end of the season. So I needed to grab some insurance at the striker role in the thoughts. And the thought process is that they're going to leave. So with Shaq and Abubakar Shigo not being quite the strikers I would have liked, I went and got rid of them and picked up 2 strikers as their replacements. So let's take a look at them. So on deadline day, I picked up 2 strikers, and this first one being Chris Hall, a 29-year-old Englishman, 6'3", very nice and tall, but also fairly solid attacking stats. He's got a 10 in his finishing, double-digit decision, double-digit determination. He's fairly fast. He's pretty average in the speed department, 10 in pace, 10 in agility, 9 acceleration. And it just seems like he has a little better knack for goal on paper compared to Yohan Ben-Yahya. So if I get rid of Yohan Ben-Yahya and make some money off of him, at least dumping his contract, Chris Hall would certainly be a competent backup. And just taking a look at his history, he scored goals for Stalybridge and Harrogate, so he can do it at the higher level. The main question is, can he do it here in level 8? I certainly hope so, and only time will tell. Maybe I'll give him a run of form right before the end of the season just to, get his bit of fitness up. And the other striker coming in is a 27-year-old Englishman by the name of Carl Ashton. Now, not quite as fast and probably not as attacking proficient as Chris Hall, but he certainly still has the solid stats in the spots where you'd expect it to. 11 in finishing, an 8 off the ball, decent pace with a 9 there, 9 acceleration. The one thing I am worried about is he has low vision and he has low work rate. So while he can score goals for you, if he doesn't really get the ball or if he's not in a solid position to put the ball on net, he's just not going to work for you. So those are my only qualms about him, but other than that, he looks like a fairly solid player. Now that we covered the 2 new wins, let's get into the match versus Romulus. And today they're going to be playing a 4-5-1 with the V formation, and I think I'm going to go with a 4-4-2. So this is what the starting 11 is going to be for the day. We're going to have Williams in net, Coupe, Kennedy, Lewis, and Batten along the back line. Riley, Wolstenholme, Bacon, and Emmett, the mid 4. And of course, the 2 strikers that have been mainstays for the majority of the season, Ben-Yahya and Benny Igihan. Like I said, I want to try and get Ashton and Hall into the mix as much as possible, but since this is their first match with the club, I don't want to throw them out there just yet. I'll sub them on, get their match fitness up. Hopefully they'll grab a couple goals for us, but for now, we'll start with Benny and Johan and keep it going with that. So let's kick off and see what happens. Cut it out. Cut it out. They get it into the box. It's a shot. It's deflected off of Williams, and we are currently losing 1-0 to 17th place Romulus. What happened to this defense? Some good tackling. Oh, that was a bad clearance by Lewis as it bounced off the defender, fell right to Grandison, but then Williams making a cock up right there as he parries it into his own net. We've had 6 shots. None of them on target, though. Romulus 1-1, so, typical. But here we go. Emmett through to Benny. Benny taking a short angle shot. Really shouldn't have done that. Emmett trying to take a shot as it falls out. And they cleared away for a throw-in. So this team's playing like hot garbage at this point. Like I said, 1 shot, 1 goal for Romulus. We've had 10 shots, only 2 of them on target, as you saw in that last highlight. Those were our only 2 shots on target. So things need to change, and it needs to be more attacking, and we need to really pump the ball into this box. Hit the early crosses, pass into space. We just need to push higher up and take it to these guys, putting on their back foot. And right now, we're just not doing that. Right, so I didn't think I'd have to make a sub this early. We're only 10 minutes into this half, but Benny Igihan pulling up and more than likely wanting to be subbed off. So we're going to have the debut for Chris Hall today for Benny Igihan, and hell, we may have the debut for Carl Ashton if Yohan Benyaya is not going to fare all that well. All right, that's it. I'm getting really, really mad at this. So we're going to make some changes, and we're going to make some changes now. We're going with a 4-2-4. Jack Emmett, who can play both on the left and the right attacking mid. We're going to move him over there. Yohan Benyaya can actually play left attacking mid, so we'll drop him back there. Obviously, that means Riley can't play up in the striker, so Carl Ashton's going to come on for him. And we're going to have to switch things around. He can't play defensive forward. He's more of a target man. We'll then make Chris Hall an advanced forward. Yohan Benyaya is more like a wide target man in support. And we're just going to go with this. Great. Yohan's injured. As if things can't get any worse. So it stands to be said that Romulus are going to win this match, needing only one shot. We've taken 15. And it's sad to say we've only had 3 of them on target. So while we were able to get the shots off, obviously finishing is quite the issue here. Full time, Sheffield 0, Romulus 1 in a extremely disappointing defeat. And the team doesn't look very enthused, doesn't look very up for it. But even with that loss, we are still in first place, as apparently Stocksbridge lost today as well. They got thumped by Rugby Town 5-2. So still in first, but at the same time, not a really, really convincing leader right now, as we're looking to bounce back from this loss, as we just had 5 matches being unbeaten. Well, now we got beat. But that just means let's take a look. And apparently Yohan Benyaya is out 2-3 months, so he's out for the rest of the season. Yay. Great. So that means Chris Hall is more than likely going to start in his stead. And then you take a look at the schedule, which means that next episode we're going to be coming back for the last match of the season, as against Basford more than likely will determine, are we going to be league champions or are we going to be playing some playoffs? So with that in mind, hopefully Yohan Benyaya is not injured so much that I can't sell him off by the end of his contract. Always got to think about the money with these small clubs. But until that time where we face Basford, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and you want to see more FM content. Any comments, suggestions, questions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.